in my never-ending quest to find the perfect hooded base layer, I ended up running the Kuiu Tiburon Hybrid Hoodie this year. And I must say, after testing several different options over the last couple of years, I was shocked by how much I liked this hoodie. Right out of the gate, I've tried a few different pieces from Kuiu over the last couple of years, and the issue with me has always been sizing. The material and fabric that Kuiu uses is always super impressive, and I wish more of their stuff fit me, but the fact of the matter is it just doesn't. I find the pants fit too tight in the seat and the thighs, and by the time I get pants that are big enough, it's like a 42 waist, and I'm swimming in the waist to get the rest of the pants to fit me okay. And before running this particular base layer, I tried the Kuiu Gila hoodie, and it fit very odd indeed. It had a super tight neck gaiter element to it. I couldn't wear it for more than 30 seconds. I felt super claustrophobic. However, the fabric, the fit, the function of the Kuiu Tiburon Hybrid Hoodie really impressed me. And so what I thought would be beneficial, last year around this time, I did a head-to-head review between the Sitka Core Lightweight Hoodie and the Stone Glacier Avro Synthetic Hoodie. You can go watch that comparison right here. Now, those two hoodies are very different, and I almost think have different use cases. The Core Lightweight being better early season, the Stone Glacier having a better overall fit and being more targeted towards that mid to late season. And so I brought up the spreadsheet that I did for those two and then just added all the results from the testing from the Kuiu. And what I thought would make most sense is I'm literally just going to run through. I will give you the results that the Kuiu had, and then I'll let you know where it's stacked up against the Sitka and Stone Glacier options. So for price, the Kuiu is $129 USD. The Core Lightweight is also $129, and the Avro is $79. Now, I thought the weight was particularly interesting. And let me say that I'm running a double XL in all of these pieces. And the Core Lightweight came in at 7.3 ounces, the Avro at 10.9, and the Tiburon was the lightest at 6.6 ounces. Now for materials, the Tiburon has two kinds of materials. So on the front, it uses this Air Matrix proprietary fabric. It's 100% polyester, 86 grams per square meter. And then it's a more standard four-way stretch, 100% polyester knit on the back, coming in at 90 grams per square meter. So fabric on the back, a little bit heavier, but also with a bit more of a stretch. This fabric on the front has this matrix pattern to it, and it has a little bit of horizontal stretch and basically zero vertical stretch. So a mild kind of two-way stretch in that material, and it breathes extremely well. Now the Core Lightweight uses a blend that's 88% polyester and 12% elastane, and the Avro is significantly heavier at 100% polyester four-way stretch fabric at 145 grams per square meter. And I think the material is really where these three set apart. The Core Lightweight has very little stretch to it, and one of my issues is the fit of that Sitka piece. It's extremely tight across the shoulders and the chest and very boxy in the midsection. The Stone Glacier fits well, but is a little heavier than I like and has almost too much stretch to it. Like you can pull the sleeves out to here. And I like some stretch in my base layer, but not too much, because as you get hot and sweat and go through the course of a 10 or 12 day hunt, the garment kind of lets go on itself and you actually lose some of the shape. So some stretch is good, too much stretch, not good. Now, moving on to warmth, I will rank these from warmest to lightest. Stone Glacier, then Sitka, then Kuiu. The Kuiu, being 6.6 ounces for a double XL is an extremely lightweight garment, but you can just feel the air move through it, and therefore it does not retain nearly as much heat as the Stone Glacier piece and a little bit less than the Sitka piece. Now obviously there is an inverse relationship between warmth and breathability. As a garment gets more breathable, it becomes less warm. So again, the Kuiu is the most breathable of all of the pieces. And as I mentioned before, you can basically just feel the wind move right through it. However, it is also the quickest to dry. And I must say, especially with an early season piece, that length of time to dry is probably my single biggest factor that I'm looking for in that piece. When you're hiking all day or getting to a glassing knob and then you take your clothes off and your back stays wet for an hour, it's one of the most annoying things going. So I love the fact that as soon as I stopped hiking, dropped my pack, 10 or 15 minutes, this piece would be dry with any decent kind of air movement. Now, durability. The fact that I've run the Sitka Core Lightweight significantly longer than the other two pieces really makes this hard to judge, but given my anecdotal evidence, here's what I've discovered so far. The Sitka Core Lightweight is a tank. One of the trade-offs for having low stretch in that fabric is that it's also highly durable. The Stone Glacier Avro has held up pretty well, but definitely starting to show signs of pilling and some fraying on the flat lock seams. Having only run the Kuiu for 2 hunts, maybe 15 or 20 field days in total, it's really tough to come to a firm conclusion. But I gotta say, it's like this thing came out of the box yesterday. Like, it is shocking to me how good a condition this is still in. I can't see a single worn thread, a single bit of pilling, like nothing. And just feeling this fabric, because the front has a little bit less stretch, it almost has a little bit less likelihood of like grabbing on things like thorns and branches. And my gut is this is going to be a highly durable piece, but I can't really speak to that having spent just a couple hunts of one season in it so far. So the Sitka has a fitted design to it. It's meant to hug your body. The problem with that is it doesn't have enough stretch. So if your body's not perfectly shaped to fit its design, it can be really uncomfortable, as I mentioned, across the shoulders and the chest. Now, the Stone Glacier also has a fitted design, much more stretch, maybe a little bit too much stretch, also as I mentioned earlier, but it's almost a little bit too long in the sleeves and the body, which is a rare thing for me to say. I appreciate longer sleeves and a longer body, but in order for it to fit across kind of my chest and midsection, it was too long in the sleeves and the torso. Now, the Kuiu strikes a nice balance between the two. I would say it does not have a fitted design per se. It's a little bit more boxy. It's a very interesting fit. I've never had a base layer with material like this. It's almost a bit of a stiffer material. It's hard to describe. So it's not a fitted design, but it's also not a boxy design. I would say it's a loose fitting base layer. It's not going to be skin tight, but the sleeves are a good length, and it could probably have maybe an additional 1 inch or 2 inches in the torso. That being said, overall, I was very impressed with the fit. The last note I will make on fit is the fit of the hood on the Kuiu is not my favorite. Again, because it's this almost, stiff is the wrong word, but it's a slightly different feel to the material. The hood kind of collapses on you. And because it's not skin tight, it doesn't ride tight to the crest of the head, and it kind of has a tendency to flap over and fold in front of your vision, which I find a little bit annoying. If there was one criticism I wanted to give this piece, it would be in the design of the hood. All right, so here we go. I am 6'1", 230 pounds. This is a double XL. So you'll notice it's not fitted, but it's also not super boxy. Like, it's a nice kind of in between. The sleeves are not too short. I can go all the way out to here. They don't ride up. They're also not too long. I could use maybe an extra 1 or 2 inches in the torso, but it's really not that bad. And when it heats up and you get some moisture in it, it will, stretch out a little bit and ride a little bit lower. But overall, really great fit. Takes a little bit to get used to just because the fabric does have a little bit of a feel to it, to your traditional kind of base layer hoodie garments. And then if we look at the hood, this is what I was talking about before. Like, because it's not a skin tight hood like the Core Lightweight or the Avro that kind of would hug like this and stay back off your face. It kind of collapses down on top of your face. And so as long as you're wearing a ball cap, it doesn't really bug me, but it's almost like I wish it had some like firmer gusseting here through the sides so that it would, stay up and off your face a little bit, or make it a little bit shorter so that it stays back here. But anyways, that's really my only gripe with the piece. So there you go. Fit and function, Kuiu Tiburon Hybrid Hoodie. The last note I want to make on fit is that I would say Kuiu and Sitka sizing is closest, whereas the double XL in the Kuiu and the double XL in the Sitka fit me somewhat similarly, and the double XL in the Stone Glacier is a little bit bigger. I feel like an XL in the Stone Glacier would be more equivalent to the double XL in the Kuiu and the Sitka. All right, folks, going to take a quick break for a short note about mindful reviews. If you appreciate unsponsored, non-biased reviews like the one you're watching and you want to see me do more of them, I need your support. If you could go join Mindful Reviews at mindful-reviews.com, I would greatly appreciate it. There's a phenomenal community over there, great forums, monthly giveaways. It's turning into a really strong and engaging community. Also, I'm going to sweeten the pot. If you join between now and December 15th, you will be automatically entered to win a Prime RVX34. So again, head on over, mindful-reviews.com. Anyone who joins between now and December 15th will be automatically entered to win a Prime RVX34. As far as the options available, Sitka has 5 camo patterns, 3 solid colors, and 7 sizes total, including extra large tall. Stone Glacier offers 2 solids in 5 sizes, and Kuiu offers 3 camos, 3 solids, and 6 sizes total. When it comes to packability, Kuiu packs up the smallest for sure. Like this basically turns into, size of a softball, like packs right up to almost nothing. And then finally, odor fighting technology. Tiburon uses Silvadur anti-odor technology. The Core Lightweight uses Polygene. The Avro uses Polygene. They all use some type of aftermarket protection against odor. Now, that being said, these are synthetic pieces, not merino pieces. They will build up funk quicker than merino. I found the Kuiu built up funk the least of all 3, and the Stone Glacier built up the most funk. And if you look at the weight of the garments, the Stone Glacier coming in at 146 grams per square meter being the heaviest of the 3 garments, it only makes sense because there's actually more material there to hang on to the microbial elements that create that odor in the first place. All right, let's get to my final thoughts here. Like, how do I feel about where the Kuiu sits amongst these other pieces? What's the best use case? All that good stuff. So for starters, I really want to commend Kuiu on the sizing of this piece. I mentioned that at the outset of this video. I think it's really well done. I think the fabric use and the material is extremely innovative. I love this dual fabric approach. I think it has enough stretch without having too much stretch. Phenomenally breathable. Overall, I think it's probably the most innovative hooded base layer I've worn in a long time. I love this piece, and it's been a while since I think the Sitka Ambient was like the last piece of apparel that I just fell in love with and was like, I'm going to use this thing all the time. I love this base layer. Now, it is very light, so it's not going to be for everybody, but I tend to run hot. And I would see myself wearing this thing, all the way up until the end of September, chasing elk for sure. Then once we get into October and things get cooler, I would probably switch over to the Stone Glacier. But I see this replacing my Sitka Core Lightweight completely. There's nothing the Sitka Core Lightweight does that this piece doesn't do better. So there you have it, folks. That's my thoughts on the Kuiu Tiburon Hybrid Hoodie. Excellent piece. If you could take a moment and engage with this content, hit the like and subscribe buttons, YouTube does a terrible job of organically promoting hunting gear content. And so if you could help me get it pushed up a little further on the ranks, I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, thank you for tuning in.